we've got an eye, and then we need to do something similar on the left hand side. But again, it's very much in shadow, but nevertheless it needs to be there. Okay, so we've got eyes and nostrils. So now I think I'm going to give this animal on the left a dry brush treatment, both in terms of shadow and, well, maybe not for the shadow actually, but certainly for the highlights. So I think I'm going to add some deeper shadows to begin with on this one on the left. Actually, on sort of third thoughts, I think I'm going to try a sort of pseudo dry brush for both shadow and highlights. We'll see how it goes. So I've got another mix of that purple, but with more of the magenta in. And back to my flat brush. And I quite like that already, so we'll persevere and see where we end up. Because it might be quite a nice contrast of textures to have the animal on the left painted in the way I'm doing it now, and then the one on the right with that rather looser, more kind of flowy treatment. So by being a little bit more precise with this one on the left, I can kind of refine the structure of the muscles and things like that in a way that's a little trickier to do if you're doing it with the washes. But even though I'm dry brushing on paint which is more or less straight out of the tube, it's still transparent enough that the work I've done underneath, that's still going to show through. So you still, in a way, you're sort of getting the best of both worlds, hopefully. All right, well, I've actually just switched to my interactive acrylics. Got my little filbert brush here, titanium white, cerulean blue, mixed up a pale blue. Going to use this to just put in some final highlights on this right hand animal, where the light's really catching the nose quite brightly. Put a little bit there as well, but apart from that, I think I'm going to leave that guy. Now on the left hand animal, similar thing on the nostril. A little bit of light there. Just going to, even though it's not quite like this, I'm just going to use the same blue just to pick out the line of the nose there a little more, and adding a little bit more of the blue to that same mixture. just going to use that to put in a few little highlights on this left hand animal, just to soften some of these drawing lines that are still showing. You know, I don't mind that the drawing is showing. That was kind of the idea all along, really. But I just feel I can improve the final image by adding some extra bits of blue to this guy on the left. I'm just switching to a 1/2 inch flat brush now. I'm going to just drag across. Just need to load the brush up a bit more. Just going to dry brush across some of this blue to get a little bit more sheen on the coat. So here's a look at the finished painting, and you can see I've added a little bit of detail onto the eye of the right hand animal. If we look at the body, then you can see how great watercolor is for creating these really interesting textural washes, but still having a sense of form on the animal's trunk or torso. And then the addition of the acrylic blue highlights on the left hand steer have really kind of brought that one to life as well. So I'm going to call this painting Welcome to the Edge, because the idea is that I've got this kind of abstract landscape turned on its side. So I've got the sky on the right and all the foliage and hedges and things on the left, and the two are kind of bleeding into each other. And then these animals have somehow existed or live at 90 degrees to that landscape, and they've kind of walked to the edge of reality almost.